Jake Paul is preparing for perhaps the most intense and significant fight of his career, facing Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., and the build-up has been nothing short of dramatic. To bulk up and sharpen his edge, Jake has brought in a team of heavy hitters to spar with, building real heavyweight pressure in his camp. Notably, Mike Tyson has rejoined him for training, a surprising move given their recent bout. Despite their past clash, Tyson praised Jake's commitment, revealing that Paul returned to the gym just weeks after their fight. Showing no interest in resting, Tyson even admitted feeling soreness in his chest and back after trading blows with Jake, a rare confession from someone as tough and experienced as him. It's a clear sign that Jake's punches carry weight, giving credibility to his development as a boxer. This isn't just a media stunt anymore. Jake is landing real shots that even legends feel the next day. When asked about Chavez Jr. single quotes S statement that he's seeking revenge for Tyson,
I don't know if I'm 100% recovered, but I feel good.
Yeah. Now, what can you tell us about how that went? Do you feel good about it? You have a fight with Jake Paul?
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What have you been up to after the fight?
I was in St. Bart's, I came back from St. Bart's, and now I'm starting.
Jake brushed it off. To him, Chavez needs that kind of emotional fuel, but he's confident that it won't help him win. Jake seems unfazed by the history or sentiment. He's focused on results. Critics, however, remain skeptical. The fight between Jake and Tyson was slammed by many online as a money-making scheme rather than a legitimate contest. Claims of it being staged circulated widely, with some assuming the Chavez fight would follow the same script. Yet respected figures in boxing defended the match's authenticity. They argue that Tyson wouldn't take part in something fake, and that the damage exchanged in the ring was very
Oh, no, I don't remember the fight that much. I kind of blanked out a little. Listen, know what I remember? I'm coming back from the first round, and then the next day I remember Jacob doing some kind of, I don't know, what was he doing at the ring?
Oh, yeah, a little bow at the end. He bowed.
And that's the last thing I remember. You know, but the day after the fight, right after, the day after, I woke up, I told my wife, why did I do that? You know, I don't know. I just don't know what the hell goes on.
What did you think of Jake's power, man, when you were in there?
I don't remember it. But my body was really sore. Yeah, my body, my chest, my...
real. Chavez Jr. has framed this fight as something personal. He believes Jake stepped out of line by facing off against someone of Tyson's stature, a boxing icon. For Julio, this match is a chance to restore honor, both to himself and to Tyson. His motivation runs deeper than victory. It's about reinforcing respect for the sport and the legends who shaped it. Logan Paul also weighed in, saying this is not another flashy event. Unlike Jake's previous opponents, aging fighters or crossover names, Chavez Jr. brings technical depth and genuine experience. Logan admits that this matchup comes with higher stakes. Julio's ring intelligence and history pose a different kind of challenge.
See, Mike Tyson could have knocked him out there. Jake Paul's chin was wide open. But then Mike Tyson realised, just as he was about to throw that punch, that, oh no, I'm getting paid lots of money, I can't knock him out. So ridiculous, mate. This video has been sent to me so many times. It's went viral. People saying that Mike Tyson could have knocked him out. See, it was a scam. It was a scripted. But if you know boxing, you'll know exactly what's happened right here. Mike started to throw the punch as Jake Paul was moving, and he realised in that split second that if I throw this punch, it's going to miss because he's moving out of the way. So what did he do?
One that demands more than Jake's usual power and flash. He'll need real endurance, strategy, and composure. Still, Jake faces continued scrutiny. His rise through boxing has often been dismissed as clever branding over bravery. Many believe he's sidestepped true danger by picking past their prime legends or MMA veterans. This fight, however, might finally test if Jake is more than a viral headline, if he's ready to stand toe-to-toe with a real, battle-hardened boxer. Jake Paul has always been strategic when it comes to picking his opponents. Some call it playing it safe. Others say it's smart matchmaking. With Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., though the stakes are different, Julio may not be in his prime anymore.
Talked to Chavez previously, and he says this fight, he looks forward to getting revenge for Mike Tyson for what you did to him. I know you, Tyson, actually go way back. What's your thoughts on that, him saying he'd get revenge for Tyson?
Yeah, whatever he needs to motivate himself and whatever dreams he has in his head, but he's not going to beat me, so he's just going to be another legend that I'm going to beat and embarrass.
Well, you know, you always have big people at your fights. You know, have you sent any invites to the president?
Oh, not currently, not currently.
Who do you want? Who do you want to see there?
Man, we'll see. It's LA, so I think a lot of people will show up.
Listen, Badu Jack basically said he'll offer you a title shot. You know, that's fast. I know you said, I heard you say earlier, you know, you can see it happening in a couple of years. What do you really think about that? When, you know, I know you're looking forward to this fight, but like when you hear something like that, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I'm super interested. I had Vikisa contact his team behind the scenes, so those discussions
But
are
he's
happening.
a legitimate fighter with years of experience, a well-known name, and a history in the sport that can't be ignored. If Jake manages to secure a solid win here, it could shift the way he's viewed in boxing circles. It wouldn't just be another win, it could redefine his path in the sport. But if he loses, critics will feel justified in their skepticism. Jake's career has often straddled the line between entertainment and genuine boxing ambition. His past fights have drawn huge attention, but many believe he's yet to face a real test. Chavez Jr. presents that opportunity. Despite some recent inconsistencies,
Paul versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
I think it's one of his toughest fights.
It's definitely his toughest fight. Jake, I feel like, has gotten stiffed a few times this year with who his opponents were gonna be. This is what I don't understand about people hating on him. He's not fighting tomato cans. Every single person that he fought had a chance to beat him. And by the way, people believed that they were probably going to beat
every
him.
time.
This guy is a real boxer. So it'll be another opportunity to show that Jake Paul is a real boxer.
Julio's skill, name recognition, and experience make him dangerous. For Jake, the matchup is a calculated gamble. The risk is real, but so is the potential. Reward, it's not a random fight. It's a carefully chosen moment to silence doubters and gain respect. Jake's brand power guarantees that people will tune in, whether they're fans or haters. Chavez Jr., meanwhile, brings the weight of legacy and real boxing pedigree. Together, they form a pairing that cuts across casual and hardcore audiences. Promoters understand that this isn't just a match.
Bro, it's actually getting annoying. Jake Paul, you aren't slick. What is this fight? It was just announced that Jake Paul's next fight will be against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Are we serious? He's 39. I get he was a WBC champion, but that was 13 and 14 years ago. This dude is 39. How do you go from wanting to fight Canelo to fighting somebody Canelo smoked every single round when Canelo fought him? It wasn't even close. It actually makes me mad because I want to see Jake Paul fight somebody, an actual boxer, somebody good, because I really want to see if he's really about it. But he picks the worst fights. And I get it. He's making a ton of money. So we can't even hate. We can't hate. But I just want to see if he's really about being a WBC champion, really getting up in the ranks in the boxing. Bro, if he was really about it, he would have fought Tommy Fury again. But he doesn't want to do that. When he fought a real boxer, we saw what happened. And now we're fighting another washed 39-year-old. We already know how this fight is going to go. We already know Jake Paul is going to make a ton of money. At the end of the day, we can't hate, but this is getting annoying. Can we just fight somebody good? Somebody that's actually fighting right now? Bro, what are we doing?
It's a spectacle, and Jake knows that to gain legitimacy, he has to fight those with real credentials. Chavez Jr. isn't taking this lightly. He sees Jake as someone who's coasted on fame without truly earning it inside the ring. For him, this fight is personal. He wants to send a message not just to Jake, but to everyone watching that boxing isn't a platform for influencers. It's a sport built on sweat, sacrifice, and serious competition. Julio intends to use this bout as a reminder of his abilities, and to defend boxing's reputation.
Expectations,
A lot of
and
pressure.
then, you know, the pressure, and you know, he got involved with drugs and this and that, and you know, he seems like he's doing better and he's doing good. And I've seen him train lately. I've talked to the father, and he says, look, if my son shows up to the ring the way I've seen him in the last few months, I think he said like last 6-7 months, he goes, yeah, he's gonna knock out Jake Paul.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, I'm sure a lot of people would love to watch that and see that. So, yeah, don't miss the fight.
Yeah.
June 28th. It's going to be crazy. No, it is. I mean, because Jake Paul actually has... It's not that he has something to prove, but he actually can prove something here. Chavez Jr. went the distance with Canelo, right? In Canelo's prime. And so imagine if Jake Paul like knocks out Chavez
however,
Jr.
isn't sold. He believes that fighting an older Chavez doesn't prove anything and questions whether Jake's rise is about skill or spectacle. Arum argues that true contenders test themselves against rising talent, not aging fighters past their prime, until Jake steps in with someone younger, sharper, and active in the rankings. Arum sees him as a sideshow rather than a serious athlete. Oscar de la Hoya, on the other hand, suggests this could be the moment Jake finally faces a man with both the hunger and the tools to truly test him. He sees Julio as someone who can bring the kind of intensity and authenticity that has been missing.
Taking this far more serious, and he's not struggling with addiction issues like he has for so long in his pro career. this fight does become a little bit of a dangerous one for Jake. Not because Chavez Jr. is in his prime anymore. He's still going to be a shell of that early 20s Julio Cesar Chavez. But with 60 wins under his belt, if there is still any of that muscle memory left, if there's still any go left in his body, because again, I hate to keep referring to it, doing drugs or having addiction issues does take its toll on your body, and sometimes it isn't recoverable, especially as you're going up in weight. Julio Cesar Chavez is not a normal cruiserweight, so he's going to be moving up as he gets older. How does that entail what he's going to do in this fight? I don't know, but I'll tell you, I watched him ringside against Uriah Hall, and it wasn't an impressive performance when he beat Uriah Hall in a 6-round fight. Honestly, when I watched the fight back, it looked like the only reason he beat Uriah Hall in that fight was because Uriah, like most MMA fighters, when they come to boxing, don't take credence of the rule set, right? They get hit with a ton of shots that don't hurt them, but also they're getting hit with shots that are scoring against them. Uriah Hall didn't look overwhelmed in that fight at all. In fact, he looked like he was in the fight with Chavez Jr. And that in its own right is pretty damning, because while he won the fight, that was Uriah Hall's first boxing match ever. And Uriah was not a young guy at that point either. The point I'm making with all this is I get what Jake is doing here, and fair play to him. Again, you do have to remember Jake didn't have...
From Jake's previous matchups, the fight could be the one that finally forces Jake into a level of competition he hasn't yet encountered. Even among fans, there's a divide. Many want to see Jake fall not out of personal hate, but because they feel his rise has come at the expense of boxing's integrity. For those people, Julio represents everything Jake isn't: tradition, experience, and earned respect. A win for Chavez wouldn't just be his, it would feel like a symbolic win for boxing itself. Despite recent decline, Julio's past as a world champion...
Let's find a real boxer. This man's an ex-world champion. He's way smaller when he was competing.
Yeah.
He has to come up to my weight. He's the son of a legend. I'm now Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
He's Mexican. It's the best you could do. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
From a business standpoint, it's brilliant. You can't really do better than that if you're not trying to feed man to the wolves. But you're trying to make it a peso.
But do you reckon it's going to generate numbers?
Good question.
It depends how they market it.
It depends what Chavez comes on.
Yeah.
Because Jake won't be able to push this himself. It depends what Chavez comes on. If Chavez comes on some like, listen, bro,
I'm going to teach you boxing.
I'm going to teach you boxing. Yeah, then it can sell.
That type of energy.
But if he comes on the vibe we know he's on, which is why he's even...
And a respected technician in the ring still counts. Skills like his don't vanish entirely. With the right mindset and preparation, he might just deliver a performance that reminds the world of the fighter he once was, and perhaps still can be. This fight isn't just another chapter in Jake Paul's journey. It's a moment that could define both fighters' legacies, one way or the other.